Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of The Rundown with the Cowboy Crab. I am the Cowboy Crab. On today's episode of The Rundown, we got the post-season recap here for you, ladies and gentlemen, or post-season debriefing, I guess you could say. And we also got the Victory Bowl 38 preview for you on today's episode of The Rundown. But let's not waste any further time, and let's get straight into the debriefing for this past playoff matchup. So we'll start with the play-ins. We'll get to the wild card division, and you know how it goes. So we'll start with the play-ins. We'll start with the Western Conference. So starting off, the number 7 Yorkshire Rattlers beat the 10 seed Dansville Ducks 55-49, advancing the Rattlers onto the wild card round. While on the other play-in game, the 8th seed Raiders beat the 9th seed Toros 35-28 in a one-possession game to advance the Raiders into the wild card round. In the Eastern Conference, the 10 seed Greats, with the upset of the play-ins, winning 72-66 in a barn burner shootout against the Newark Destroyers. And then you had the 8th seed Florida Firecats beat the 9th seed Miami Bolts and the in-state Florida rivals. And the Firecats come out with the win in that one. So now we'll move on to the wild card round. Back to the Western Conference. The 1 seed Blue Steel City Vikings beat the 7 seed Rattlers 28-52. Advancing the Vikings to the divisional round. The 2 seed Spartans beat the 8th seed Raiders 35-29. Another close one from the Raiders. Unable to get the win, though, in that one. Now we got the upset of the Western Conference wildcard round. The 3-seeded Sky Kings go down to the 5 seed Twisters 54-55 in a one-possession game, sending the Twisters to the divisional round. And lastly, the 4th seed Bruisers, in another barn burner, beat the 8th seed Jackrabbits. Is that right? No. I think it means 6. Yeah, they wanted to put 6 there. And the 6th seed Jackrabbits 56-55. Yeah, for some reason they have the Jackrabbits listed 8 seed in the scores, but they're supposed to be 6 because there's no other 6. Okay. All right. Someone might never fix that. Or maybe someone will. I don't know. But anyways, moving on to the Eastern Conference wildcard matches. The number 1 seed Orblocks Snowhawks beat the 10 seed Greats 65-54 in a surprisingly high-scoring affair. And then the upset of the wildcard round over, just in general, the 8th seed Florida Firecats beat the 2 seed Highland Huskies 50-45. The 3-seeded DC Knights beat the 5 seed Atlanta Phoenix 37-12. Phoenix only not even putting up 20, but after the regular season they've had, not really surprised. But at the same time, it's a weird score looking back on it. And lastly, the runners-up in last season's Victory Bowl, and I forgot to mention it, the Rattlers being last season's Victory Bowl champions, eliminating the wild card round. Well, the team they faced, the number 4 seed Pemberley Punishers, also go down in the wild card round as they lose to the 6th seed Empire State Sentinels. Now to the division round. The number 1 seed Vikings beat the 5 seed Twisters 39-14. Pretty low scoring affair. Then the upset of the divisional round. The 2 seed Spartans fall to the 4th seed Bruisers 28-35 in another one possession game. A lot of scores ending with 35, to say the least. Now to the Eastern Conference. The the number 1 seed Snowhawks beat the 8th seed Firecats 51-35. And then in the 3 seed DC Knights beat the 4 seed Empire State Sentinels 35-27. They didn't have the freaking championship game scores in the scores channel, so I'm gonna have to go scroll into the network just to find it. All right. So for the Western Conference Championship, here's your final score. The number 1 seed Vikings beat the number 4 seed Bruisers 35-21, advancing the Vikings to their 3rd ever Victory Bowl. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Conference, the 1 seed Snowhawks beat the 3 seeded Knights 49-42 to advance the Snowhawks to another Victory Bowl for them. Let me just check. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember. So, yeah, so this is your Victory Bowl matchup heading into the Victory Bowl in following weeks, I would say. So for the Snowhawks, this is their 4th ever Victory Bowl. Here is just some quick little Victory Bowl history for both of these teams. The Vikings are currently undefeated in Victory Bowls. They played in Victory Bowl 23 and 33, both against the DC Knights, and they won both. So this is the first time in a Victory Bowl not playing somebody named the DC Knights, so this could be an interesting one. While for the Snowhawks, they lost their first Victory Bowl. They played in Victory Bowl 9. They went ahead to win Victory Bowl 13 and 24. Both these teams hold 2 wins in the Victory Bowls. The Snowhawks, the only team with a loss. Both teams also resetting their Victory Bowl drought back to 0, advancing here to the Victory Bowl. So, let's just quickly go over the regular season statistics for both of these teams real quick, folks. So, Vikings and Snowhawks, both number 1 seeds in their respective conferences. The Snowhawks going undefeated in the regular season. The Vikings having 1 loss. So, we'll start with passing stats. So, Jelly, he ranked 13th, and so I'm assuming the stat sheet is just for regular season. So this is just regular season statistics. Jelly ranked 13th in the regular season, 2,981 passing yards, 34 passing touchdown, 34 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Pretty good stats. And then you had Mal Shifts breaking 3,000 yards with 3,028, 40 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So he has 6 more touchdowns. Off the top of my head, I can't do that math, but it's about 40 more passing yards, I believe. More than Jelly. And then 1 more interception. So I'd say these quarterbacks are going to be evenly matched here tonight. So let's go receiving stats, and we'll just go for their number 1 receivers here. So for the Vikings, Bojangles Bandit ranks 9th. 27 receptions, 1,142 yards, and 12 touchdowns for Bojangles Bandit. He even missed a week. He missed week 4. And then for the Corblock Snowhawks, their number 1 receiver based off statistics is Keybinder, ranking 11th. 36 receptions, 786 passing yards, and 15 touchdowns. So not as many yards as Bojangles Bandit, but having more touchdowns and more receptions. So just an interesting thing to look at there. See if we can find something in blocking stats for both these teams. Just to see if anything of interesting to note here. So, okay. So for the Snowhawks, trees blocking wise, sacks he lets up per drive is 0.02, and same with tackles for losses. So, I mean, he's got some good line protection based off those stats right there, folks. And mind you, I'm just basing all of this off stats right now. And as for the Vikings, Subway Suffocator, sacks per drive 0.16 and tackles for losses 0. Okay, I actually didn't go over all of them. Okay, so Trez, we'll go back to him real quick. He's let up 1 sack and 1 tackle per game. And he's played 46 drives out of all 6 games, so pretty good stats. He also ranked 3rd. I can't remember if I said that or not, but for Subway, a Suffocator, he's let up 6 sacks, no tackles for losses. He's played in 37 drives and has played 4 games. That's probably why some of his stats, well, it's probably why some of the numbers are a little lower, like drives. But still, no tackles for losses were let up in the regular season. That's pretty good. Here's just some coverage. I'm just going over the number 1 guys because I don't entirely feel like going through all of them, but the number 1 defender in coverage for the Snowhawks is OBJ. He's got 6 interceptions and a touchdown on the defensive side of the ball. And then as for the Vikings, it's Jelly. He's got 4 interceptions. So they got some good guys on the defensive side of the ball. So, and where they rank leader-wise, neither one of these guys in the top 5 for passing touchdowns, yards, but both are in the top 5 for a touchdown interception ratio. Jelly in 2nd, only behind Creative Geniuses with a 34-3 interception to touchdown ratio, and Mount Auschwitz with a 40-4. So nothing in rushing. Receiving wise, no receivings in receiving touchdowns, yards, or receptions. Okay. Center wise, though, is where we do have something. Subway Suffocator, least amount of sacks with just straight up zeros. Least sacks per drive. Trezzy is 2nd. Yeah, you kind of have like a tie for 1st for least sacks allowed, with all the top 5 having 0, and least sacks per drive. Trezzy goes in 2nd with 1. Neither making it into most played drives. And then for interception wise, OBJ Bros sits in 4th in the league with 6, and then most sacks goes to Trez with 11 sacks, sitting in 2nd on the season, and then Gulag for the Knights has 8. So, what does all this mean? It means these teams are the best of the best, is what it basically all this means. It's what all these stats are for. All these teams are definitely the number 1 seed in both their conferences, and this is going to be a heavyweight fight, ladies and gentlemen. And considering I was off the mark almost completely with my Victory Bowl prediction, it is very interesting to think who is going to win tonight. The Victory Bowl. Victory Bowl's not tonight. But who do I think is going to win it? Well, it's just a very interesting thing. The Vikings have been a very dominant team, but they've also, I've just kind of seen like some stuff, like some of the scores wise, it feels like they probably could have done more. And for the Snowhawks, it always feels like they're doing good, and they're doing good enough to where it didn't feel like the other team could have won, except for the championship game. Literally saving by 1. So both these teams have their weaknesses and could have easily been beaten, but in the end, they got here. So who am I picking? I know it might seem biased because I work for the Twisters, but I genuinely think the Snowhawks are going to win this one. I think it's going to be a close game going down to the wire, but I feel like the Core Block Snowhawks are going to be the ones to win the Victory Bowl 38 this season. They'll bring home their 3rd and give the Vikings their first Victory Bowl loss. That might seem biased, but I feel like it is going to be a back and forth game, and it's really going to be close. If I had to give like a percentage on who I thought was realistically going to win, 55% I would say would go to the Snowhawks, and 45% would go to the Vikings. It is really evenly close. It's just that one little bit. Well, that 5%, I guess you could say. I feel just that much more confident in the Snowhawks to win this one. So I think that's where we're going to leave it for this one. I have the Snowhawks winning. And if not, well, the Crab Curse will claim another victim. I mean, the Punishers were the first one that it seemed like they could have broke it, and they didn't. Will the Snowhawks be the ones to break the Crab Curse with me being in the building and being in the booth for the Victory Bowl? I have no idea. We'll find out eventually as we'll get ready for Victory Bowl 38. I don't know if the Pro Bowl is going to happen or not. There's been nothing said about it, so I don't know. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is where we'll wrap up this episode of The Rundown here for you folks. Representing Team Ocean, I'm the Cowboy Crab, saying so long, everybody.